Welcome back to the podcast where we talked about music design and a bunch of other things in between. My guest today in this episode is a singer-songwriter from Arunachal Pradesh, and he has been nominated as one of India's top 5 guitar player by the Guitar Player magazine in 2020. Takar Nabam, please welcome to the show.
Hooray. Hello.
Hello,
Hello, Richard.
hello.
Yeah.
Finally, we made it here, and congratulations on the little one.
Thank you so much.
How is life after having the little one?
I don't know, like I've lost track of time and I've lost track of days. That's all I can say.
And now that you're dad,
Yeah.
do you feel more pressured or you already have it or figure it out?
I mean, I haven't it hasn't gone to that point where I have had a lot of time to ponder on things, but it generally feels that life has so much more substance, and like there is like kind of like a purpose in life. Like right now, there is more. It's more meaningful for some reason, and I think the fact that the little one came to our world and she's she's a blessing for us, and definitely life got a tad bit more serious.
Yeah, I mean now it's not like the time when we were a bachelor and then you can just sleep over things and just go with the flow. Now you have dependency, and then it's not about you anymore. It's about the family, right?
Right. How about your little one? How is she doing?
She's doing fine. She just turned 1, and we just celebrated, and she's started learning to work.
Wow, that's nice.
It's tiring. It's nice, but it's tiring.
You have to keep going after her.
Yeah. I think it's one of those things that you started to really feel tired about the process, but later on you feel that they grow up too fast. Again.
Yeah.
And Takar, I really love your song. The Ngoikum Sokito. I'm not sure whether I pronounce that. Especially the live version on where you perform in NYC.
Yeah.
And I think there is something that something about live shows that you just can't reproduce in studio, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think one of them is the intimacy that you have with the audience. So can you tell me more about how do you feel about performing live versus the studio version?
Firstly, I mean, the usual tendency is when you're performing live, you tend to get a bit more excited, and you tend to play songs a little faster than they were recorded. Because I guess it's the energy of the surrounding that you're in. You're part of so many different energy that's around you, who are listening to you, connecting to you. You're telling a story, and especially Nyokum Sokito, which is in my local dialect, Nishi. Usually when I play it, it's like people don't know the dialect, so they're listening to it for the first time, and they want to hear. I mean, the good thing is so far people have really paid attention to what I'm trying to say, even if they can't understand the words. They're trying to connect to the energy of the song, and that's something really beautiful. I mean, as opposed to, let's say you did like a studio recording, which was like, you have like a specific number of bars, you have to count and play on all that stuff. So there's like too many parameters to consider. That's not humanly, it's more like you're being robotic and mechanical and trying to fit in your, vocal lines and your guitar lines into a certain time frame. Whereas in live scenario, it's like you've already recorded the song, the song, it's like ingrained in you right now. So you just have to bring out the best. You have to put in the human element to it. So live is where I think all the human energy, the human element, the little mistakes, the flaws, and that's all the beautiful stuff, that makes us human. All of that comes out so much more beautifully, I think, in live situation. And I really miss it,
Yeah. I saw these Foo Fighter shows a few weeks back, and they're doing really great shows virtually. So how do you think the artist in India is coping up with that? How is that something that everyone is doing, or has they addressed that kind of a platform?
I mean, the beautiful thing about the will of the artists and the artist community, and is how they are trying to evolve with time and make use of technology. And I mean, it's not possible to play live right now. It's highly unadvisable, very risky and stuff. So people are doing virtual gigs from home, or it's either on their own from their own Instagram pages or their own YouTube page, or they tie up or something there, or they've been called by, let's say, VH1 or something like that. So there are like platforms, and there are these channels who also want these artists to come out and play, and they want them, and they are looking for the artists. And artists are also making an effort from their end, even if they're not getting the opportunity by these big companies, but they are doing it at their own level, going live on Instagram, doing some stuff on YouTube. I mean, although, let's say, everything, it's not always possible to put together, let's say, a show that a Foo Fighter must have put together, because that's a huge production cost. You have to decorate the stage, you have to put the lights, arrange the sound, get the video team in place, and the whole logistics, getting the songs mixed and mastered, and putting out like really premium content, like that's worth to be consumed by the people right now. And with the as the everything is kind of right now dependent on the virtual platforms, so it's gotten a way bit more like competitive and difficult to kind of cut through all the noise that's been around. And I think people are do
you think that this is going to be the new normal, or is it things will evolve?
As much as I hate to admit it, but I think we are already kind of in part of it. We are already living it right now. Whether you want to call it normal, abnormal, whatever you want to call it. I mean, we are in it already, and let's see how long this goes before we are.
And and also, it for some artists it might be easy because they are tech savvy as already. But for some people who are very traditional kind of an artist, it would be really tough, I would say, because you might be the best at the music part, but when it comes to live streaming and technology, it's a pain in the ass, I would say. And I think one of them is I spoke to Rudy Walang and from Soulmate, and they're also having a bit of struggle in the beginning. But I think they have all figured it out. They have been going live now and then, and the sound is perfect.
They've been playing quite frequently going live.
I was listening to, I'm not sure whether you know about the Apple Music Electric by Lars Ulrich. It's a podcast.
Okay.
So he was in one of the episodes. He mentioned that Metallica has not been for a very long time. Metallica never drink before they go to the show. And I was like, seriously, you're one of the biggest heavy metal band, and you're clean. I mean,
what a shame.
No. I mean, like, this is in contrary to popular belief, right?
Yeah.
I mean, we all thought that heavy metal band with the with the booze and all of that things, right? But on the other hand, Lars Ulrich is here saying that Metallica for a long time has not drink before going to the show. So I was like, oh, that's respect, man, respect. So, but here, looking at our Northeast context, I think we associate so much music with all the bad stuff. So how is your experience in that?
I mean, it's different for everybody, I feel, and as long as you're putting out really, really good shows, and people are buying tickets to your shows, and you're not ruining your shows because you're a drunkard getting on stage and you can't even utter a single line or sing in pitch or play the chords in time. So you don't want those embarrassing situations to happen. You know, I mean, there are some artists, I mean, myself, sometimes I like to have just a little, maybe a pint of beer, just to kind of like, you know, loosen up a bit and just go on stage and just feel a little flexible. And because I feel, I mean, I tend to get a little bit more spontaneous when playing like that, as opposed to going completely clean, because I've tried that also. But let's say if you have like too many factors to keep in mind, let's say like I'm sure with Metallica, there is like a huge crew, and they need to be the artists need to be absolutely sure what they are doing, what the next song is, because like there are thousands of people watching them live, you know, and for us it's like rarely an opportunity like that. So with so many factors in mind, I'm sure like, you know, getting on stage clean would be a much safer bet, I'm sure. But let's say if you're doing your not such big shows and you just want to loosen up a bit, then for me, like, you know, I just have just a pint sometime and that's it. You know, I would never encourage anybody to go up on stage like drunk, because, you know, a lot of shit can go down after that. You don't want to ruin your performance, and you need to realize that people are there to watch you perform, and you need to give them, you know, you need to be worth the buck they have paid to, you know, come to your show. So you need to respect that. That's what I have to say. Yeah,
exactly. And you know, let's talk about your recent singles that you released. Quite a story. I think both of us who have went out from our own home state and, you know, went to the metropolitan city in search of a better, you know, I would say a better future. Or I think we can somehow relate to that whole lyrics of it. Keeping aside the melody and the song, I mean, that is also a phenomenal work. But just focusing on the lyrics, that's something that everybody can relate. I mean, everybody who has gone out of their own hometown in search of a better future, you know, and also on top of that, the melody line is good. You have such a great production. And you have one of the Moro Refosca, if I'm sorry,
you got it right. You got it right.
From RHCP to play on that. I mean, how does it all come together? Let's talk about the lyrics first.
Firstly, thank you so much. I'm so glad you connected to the song, and you liked what I've put together in the song. The lyrics, as you've said, the inspiration stems from this whole feeling, the emotion, this whole phase of staying away from home and kind of like finding yourself, finding who you are, and making yourself who you are today, and all of that, you know, dreaming and stuff, living away from home. So all of that were the main ingredients of the lyrics. Really, it really hit me when I returned home. This was back in 2000, later 2018, and that during 2018-19, that whole phase, I realized that I stayed away for too long, and a lot of things I could not connect to. Like, you know, I knew that there were some things which were part of my culture, but I just couldn't like immerse myself as deeply as I'm right now. And I felt really disconnected and kind of felt out of place, especially when there were times when I was, you know, expected to speak in my native dialect with especially our elderly folks, because they expect you to know your dialect really well. And you try to speak to them in, you know, English or Hindi. They're like, you know, we don't want you to speak and all of that and stuff. So it got really, really challenging and often frustrating to come across those kind of situations. And I don't know, like it just got to me at one point, and I felt like penning it down, because as a songwriter, I've realized that if there's anything that's brooding inside, that's really bothering you and stuff, you know, better write about it. You might just get a nice song out of this, the most importantly, it'll, I mean, set you free. You feel kind of light after you have written it out, or try to make something of it. So that's basically the inspiration behind the lyrics. My whole experience going out, coming back, trying to adjust again. Yeah.
I think a lot of us who has been outside and stayed there for for some time could really relate to the song, because and like you said, the story about not being able to speak your own language very fluently. I think that's something that every one of us goes through, because we started from our own language, and then we went out went out to the cities and have to learn another language, right?
Right.
Maybe Hindi, and English is something that we already have. So in the process of that, we become like not the best in English, not the best in Hindi, not the best in your native language either.
Mm-hmm.
So we're all stuck between the three of the circle of being self doubt, like
Yeah.
and also, like, for example, like you mentioned, not being able to connect with the culture. Like we're so used to the facilities that the city provide,
Yeah.
that when we went back home, we're like, oh, there is no Uber, there's no cab, stuff like that. Tiny small things that makes lives a little bit easier, but not the necessity for having a good life, I would say.
Yeah.
So I think we're so much used to the city life, I would say.
Yeah. This exposure to the other possibilities, which which unfortunately, like a lot of our places still don't have. But it's I still feel it's good the way it is, and we'll figure out ways in which we find things or facilities that help facilitate a lot of things better here in our place. I think it'll be different from the cities. It's got its own unique.
Yeah, I truly believe that as well. And we have so much more to offer than concrete jungle and all the facilities that the city can provide. I mean, those are nice to have, but not necessity.
Yeah.
But here what we have is just bare bone minimum requirement, and then sometimes that's really push you to be more creative as well.
Absolutely.
And when did you go out of your hometown, and what was the purpose of going to the city for you?
This was back in 2000. Sorry, this was back in 1997, 98, sometime around that. My parents, they basically sent me off to school in Delhi. Reason being, a lot of schools were here in Itanagar also, but maybe the quality of education they felt was not as good, or there were too many, I don't know, like people, or like circles of friends, you could say, or people who could be a bad influence on you. You need,
I understand that,
a place which is conducive for you to learn stuff, and where you can really be productive and focus on the important things in life, and not get drifted away from your path because of the distractions around you. And obviously, like when you're home and everything, in a way, it's it'll be like a privilege, because everything is kind of taken care of. You don't have to worry about things. You don't have to worry about what activity you have to do, what you have to choose and stuff. You can be like, I don't care. You can shrug off so many responsibilities and all. I'm just saying, like, the alternate possibility of what if I didn't go away from home. That could have been the scenario. Maybe in parallel universe that's already happened. I don't know, but I think the main reason was for them to give me quality education, and which I'm very thankful to them. Absolutely. Yeah.
How do they find? How do they react to the investment that they made? About you being into music, and what was their first reaction?
They're like, does this stuff even pay? Like, what is this? Like, I mean, if you want to keep it as a hobby, just keep it as a hobby. But maybe you should get a job, go to office or something, because my mom especially, a little bit more conventional. For her, it's like, even if that whole concept of, let's say, freelancing or like doing stuff independently is very new to them, and I don't blame them, because they have not been exposed to such culture in the past. They've seen people who have excelled, basically, like, getting ready for the office, doing like 9 to 5, or mostly government jobs. And that's something that my mom would always tell me, like, you should see if you can get a government job or something, maybe become an officer, try for those exams and stuff. My dad was relatively more liberal. He would just say, whatever you do, just do your best, and just remember that you still have responsibilities in family, so you need to take care of those also, and look after your family, whatever you're doing. So I got to taste both sides of it. And now I think they've kind of accepted. I don't know they like it or not, but they don't say anything anymore. They accepted me for who I am.
Just being curious, when you go out of your home state or your hometown, how do you define hope, and how do you define hope now?
How do you define hope?
When you go out of your hometown to study in Delhi, what is the definition of hope that you have? Okay. And then now, looking back, where you stand right now, how do you define hope?
Wow, that's that's a really heavy one. But I think I was too small that time to even think about what really hope was. My hope that time was like, I want to get back home as soon as I can, Yeah. I mean, because I was very, very young that time. But on a serious note, I guess hope that time was, hoping to hit some milestones, maybe, since I was in school, maybe clear your board exams well, do your 12th really well, get into a good college, get good education, good, degree, and make sure that you don't piss off anybody at home. They like, eyeing on you too much, saying, what are you up to? What are you doing all of this and stuff? So you don't want too many people getting at family worried about what's going on. So hope back then was just getting by smoothly and getting good results, I'm sure, because I was surrounded by a lot of people who were not from the Northeast, and their level of let's say their level of understanding things, because they were like, let's say, 5th or 6th generation who are actually like studying in this same school and college that I was a part of. So it tended to be extremely difficult for me sometimes, and even frustrating to compete. Not like you're saying I want to compete with them, but it's just like it's like a very I guess it's like a subconscious thing. You are in such a surrounding where everybody's like doing so well, excelling, and they're like really smart. And I mean, after a point, I was like, okay, I have to accept, like, they are much smarter. I just got to do things in the best possible way I can. So hope that time was somehow like trying to adjust and like make things work and not fall out of place. That was hope. And obviously making everybody happy. That was hope. And also, when music came into life, it was like I wanted to do good shows, play good music, get to go play good stages. So those were the things that I wanted to do. I wanted to make people at home proud for whatever I was doing. And I wanted to make them realize, like, okay, whatever I'm doing, even if it's not academic, I still can do a lot of things which doesn't necessarily have to be the conventional way. And that was what sometimes I hope for, maybe I can bring some sort of sense of glory and pride for my people, my state. Nowadays, hope is it's it's so hard to think, but hope is really like hope is to take my culture, embrace the culture that I am a part of, take that and move forward and not lose uh, touch with that and do my best as an artist to preserve, promote, push it out, and also look after my family and my state, of course. Do things in such a good way, in such a and probably in the best possible manner I can to bring some kind of happiness, joy to my family, myself, and my state.
So, Takar, let's talk about your songwriting process, and how do you usually go about putting up the song? Like, do you write the lyrics first, or it's the other way around? The melody and the music, everything comes in, and then you try to fit in the lyrics there.
There's no set route for how I write songs in general. I sometimes write the music first and then try to fit the words, or sometimes I just write the words first. But when I usually write, I don't think I'm going to write a song, but I just try to, it's like random scribbling. I'm trying to scribble down stuff that comes to me, stuff that I feel strongly about, and then I use that as my base and try to make something. Or sometimes I'll have a vocal melody. I'll just use that as one starting point and work around it. So I just need to find one thing to kind of start with. So it could be any of those.
Okay. And do you usually just like intentionally go there and then go to a place and then say that, okay, I'm going to write a song now, and then sit down there, or you never do that?
Some of the best ideas have come to me when I haven't pressurized myself to sit down and write a song. But what I've realized is it can tend to get extremely unpredictable when it is that you find your inspiration. One thing that I've tried to do now, or I've started to do, is discipline myself. I kind of give myself an hour every other day, like maybe thrice a week or something. I just try and sit down and focus and put all my attention into try to make something. It could be just 2 lines that I can come up with within that hour, or it could be just 4 chords or a progression or a drum beat that I come across. So the idea really is to kind of keep working on your craft. You're productive enough that if you are expected to, let's say, put together a song in 24 hours, can you do that? And you can't be like, oh, I'm not feeling it right now. What do I do? I can't try it, So you kind of, I guess, condition yourself in a way that you find inspiration as often as you can and try to make things work. Because I also started doing a little bit of session related work, jingle work and stuff from home. So if there is, let's say, a timeline or something, and they say they want it as soon as they want it, and if I am not able to produce that result within time, I lose the job. So I'm kind of in a spot then. So
exactly.
Yeah, I think it's really good when you have to write songs when you're not pressured. But the other thing is, obviously, you can also discipline yourself and work towards enhancing your craft on a more routinely basis as well.
And then I was having this conversation with Dominique Fala, she is a professor in Griffin University about in design, and she done a lot of research regarding all these creator blocks or artist block, and I have a episode with her, probably episode 3 or 4, and very interestingly what she said is there is nothing such as creative block. And the reason why she said is that your brain is like a machine. The more you use, the more quicker it will be able to churn it out.
Yeah.
And people who thinks that they are stressed and then they done too much, that they don't have any more creative juice left in them, that's a complete bullshit. That's what she said. So the more you train your brain to function the way you want it, the more you can use it, the more you can produce more out of it.
Sure.
So it's the other way of what we kind of believe,
It's kind of like the counter opposite of, let's say, being completely spontaneous and be like, okay, let's see when inspiration comes to me and let
Yeah,
magic happen to me. Yeah, sure,
yeah,
but
yeah.
it can be highly, and the timing can be highly. You don't know when that's going to happen, so it's best to
Exactly,
keep
exactly.
trying. When you have the time.
Yeah, exactly. And you talked about making jingles and other commercial work like that.
Yeah.
And you know, for an artist, what do you think are some of the more important things to consider rather than just focusing on the music or the art? Because somewhere down the line, I feel that artist needs to be entrepreneurial as
Yeah.
well.
Yeah.
So
Uh, Definitely. You need to diversify your, I guess, source of earning, because uh, it. I mean, unless you're like Hollywood level, or like you're out there and like you're selling
mm,
millions
mm,
of records. That's another thing. But that's not something that majority of the people are able to achieve, or are at that level. So I'm speaking more for the commons, I guess, where.
and also just to cut you, even at that level,
Mhm.
even at that level, people are diversifying what they do, right? People who are
Yeah,
selling millions of record have a clothing brand, or have a beauty products.
yeah.
Uh,
I
So
think
I
I
think,
think it's about levels.
yeah, you can
You get to
continue. I'm
that
just
level.
putting in there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks for that. I think it's really about levels. So if you are here, you're still
Mm,
looking for ways to get there. If you're there, you are still looking for ways to get there, there. So there's no end to it. There's no point
mm-hmm.
of satiation, I would say. uh you can do
Yeah.
so many things, uh but as an artist, it's important to have that entrepreneurial side, uh
Mm,
and that is an important skill to have, because you need to survive, you need to continue making music. You have the gift of art, and
yeah.
that's the most important thing, but also not the only thing that's going to get you by. So you need to figure out ways. So, I mean, for me, uh I guess besides doing session related work, doing jingles, or making helping people uh produce their songs, I also do a little bit of teaching. So while I was in Delhi, I did
Mm,
teach at about 4 different schools, and I was also
mm-hmm.
a part of an NGO where I was doing a little bit of social work. But now here, a lot of my work is just like online. So I get some students who are learning from me online. It's Skype lessons or lessons on Zoom.
Mm-hmm.
Because one-on-one is not possible even here because of the whole COVID scenario. So yeah, I mean, teaching
Mm-hmm.
is one uh, good area where you could keep a steady flow of income for yourself. Especially during these dry spell when you don't have gigs to play to make money, because you don't sell
Mm.
records these days. People are not buying music really, so it's all streaming. So I mean, it's
And
streaming is
streaming
not.
doesn't pay that much, right?
Yeah, it doesn't pay with that. It's peanuts. It's like a it's really like a visiting card. Like you say, hey, visit my
Yeah.
visit my world, listen to my, check out everything. So it's like that. It's convenient for
Mm-mm.
sure. It has its benefits. I'm not saying it's bad. Just not the same way as it used to be once, where people bought CDs, or especially made an effort to go out and get uh, the merch and stuff of the artists they liked. So it's very different now. So diversifying your ways is crucial.
But people, Tucker, but people, a lot of the people thinks that musicians are the richest people in the world, right?
Well, to them, I would say, well, good luck. Continue thinking like that. But I think musicians, not all the musicians are like that, and most of them have it really tough because there are a lot of things we have to do. And if people are thinking that, they're really really disillusioned. And I think it just boils down to the kind of image that's been put out to the world, and we artists have been shown and glorified in a certain way, like, wow, everything is like bling and blang, everything's perfect, you get to ride these amazing cars, you get to wear amazing clothes, you play at these big stages. But I don't know, like, people don't realize what kind of an investment that's going behind, to put together shows of that level of production, putting together a team, so it's huge investment. And I don't think people get to know that side because it's not something that really spoken about also. Yeah. So we are the richest, I guess.
I mean, every story has a different perspective when you are really jumping into the boat, right? We're not, we've already been sidelined by the news media, right? And already, looking at the production when it comes to artists, although we do have good talent, I don't think we actually made it there yet. And not to mention a few of them, including you, who has already make it big. But I think there's something there
I
need to explore.
I would say the main thing is it could be because the industry is not located in this part of the country. Industry is located there, that side, on the other side, and hence a lot of people are locating themselves there. They want to move there to make their base. It's like same as, let's say, Hollywood. Why would anybody want to go to Los Angeles out of all the places in the world? Because they know that the industry is there. All the big shots of the industries, they're working there. So you need to be in the scene to be able to, get to a point where you make it there and everything kind of trickles down, and that trickles down, it spreads to the rest of the world. Yeah. I think it's kind of a similar thing here also. That's why people would want to go to Bombay or something like that, because a lot of things are happening there. They want to kind of make it big there or something, make an impact, and so that trickles down and gets to the rest of the country. Whereas if we are doing stuff from here, let's say in the Northeast, and trying to push our stuff out there, it's relatively more challenging for sure, as opposed to, let's say, if I was sitting in Bombay or like in Delhi right now and putting out my music and telling the world, hey guys, check it out or something. People, I don't know like how the mentality goes, but I guess it's a perception thing of maybe the listeners also and consumers that, okay, maybe it's from that part of the country or that part of the world, maybe it's better, I guess, or it's more acceptable, or it's more industry standard or something. Maybe that could be one of the biases. But the fact that the industry is there, that's why I think a lot of focus gets to the artist from that side. And if we, a lot of our artists have also located themselves there in the past and have seen some tremendous, like really promising results. But it doesn't mean that people have to shift out of Northeast, because now at this point, a lot of attention is coming towards Northeast now, especially, recently, Ehsan from Shankar Ehsan, he's also been, hosting a lot of the artists from Northeast in his live sessions where they get to showcase their talent and stuff. And a lot of discussion there's some kind of discussion that has started. Now, the fact that we both are discussing this is also a very good thing. And I'm sure it's going to help pave the way for our artists to kind of come out and, make it big. And also this thinking that since we are here and we probably will not make it there or something is also a very negative way of demotivating way of looking at things, I would say. I think we also need to kind of look at ourselves and see, okay, where is it that we are maybe going wrong? Maybe is it the production of the audio? Is it the quality of the songwriting? What is it? We need to introspect that as well, because a lot of things are happening out there, a lot of stuff that's trending. Maybe we're not, if you want to be that trend, so you need to think maybe 2 steps ahead and do something different,
Exactly.
or if you want to be part of that trend, you make something that's trendy. Or if you don't want to be that, and if you want to be an artist who just wants to make art for the sake of art, you can still continue doing
Mm.
that.
Yeah.
uh, so I think introspection needs to be there at our level as well. Where is it that we are lacking? We need to up our game also and do
Mm.
something that's so good that it grabs the attention from anywhere in the world. And
Yeah.
that's the beauty of, there is the power of internet, and we can reach out to so many playlist curators, so many
Mm.
magazines, so many music blogs. There are so many ways to do it. You can be sitting in
Mm.
Northeast, and there can be an article about you in London music blog. There can be an article about
Mm.
you in New York or something. It could be anywhere. You just need to make sure that you're putting out some amazing music, and you're promoting it well, and you're presenting yourself in the best possible manner. So you need to understand what the level the world level of artist is in the rest of the world, and also in this country, and you need to see where is it that you can improve as an artist. And I do that myself too. Like, I try and look for ways. I try and look at the artist from, let's say, the mainland, or uh,
Mm.
the global artist, and see what is it they are doing. And obviously there are some things that I can try and achieve, and some things I can't do. Like, I can't get a
Yeah. Yeah.
Lamborghini in my video and, like, shoot the whole music video, or get, like, you know uh, do like a lot of fancy stuff. That's not
Yeah.
something that I can do. I don't have the budget for it. But within my budget, what can I do creatively to kind of tell my story? So that's something that uh, we need to think about, and have
And
realistic expectations. It cannot be like, you know
mm.
yeah, please.
Yeah. And also, I think it's time we need to stop playing the notice card, all the time.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because if we play the role
Absolutely.
reverse,
And
if we play the role
mhm,
reverse of where uh, where people come to our own state and then stay there, we might not be the best
mhm.
host. Now we go to Delhi and
Yeah,
then people are quite accommodating. I mean, I would say very accommodating. But if the same people come to our state, we might not be the same. Our reaction might not be the same. That's what I would say.
yeah, yeah, that's true. We need to look inwards. We need to see,
Hmm.
maybe there is something wrong in us also. And if there is something wrong, we need to correct. And we can't be blaming, you know the rest of the world for what's happening. It is what it is, and we need to figure out our way, our struggle, and our own
Yeah,
ways to do things. Yes. And
exactly.
speaking of which, I feel Northeast is a huge, it's so diverse. It's got so much cultural diversity, and so much that can
Hmm.
happen. And within Northeast also, even if you build a huge community of listeners and artists, I think that's a lot. You're gonna get a lot
Yeah,
of
yeah.
people. You can have a separate industry altogether, but that's not the point. I just feel that it's got to be like a pan India thing, or a pan
Mm.
world thing. It cannot be just Northeast versus the rest of the world. That's, I think, not the most healthy way of looking at things.
Before we end the show, I mean, I would want to ask you one
Hmm.
more question. As an artist, how do you define job
Sure, sure.
security?
Uh, I guess a certain a certain sum of money coming in, some kind of like money coming in every month, so you're able to at least take care of certain things, take care of, pay
Mm.
off your bills, take care of your necessities, and have some amount of savings for the rainy days. And if you can save enough to buy your equipment, that's even better. Yeah. So
Exactly.
I would say it's a music is uh, this the art field is highly, it's competitive and very unpredictable. and you need to be very patient and uh, bold to take this step. But you need to find, like we discussed earlier also, you just need to find your ways to uh,
Mm.
diversify and sustain yourself, because that's really important. Yeah. Okay, so this is Nyokum Sokito, which translates to "Let's celebrate Nyokum." It's a song in our Nisi dialect. Solu alo aljakapato hanyir hemer hanganyapa opo lindo ating tagdo dagpu tagdo puryap hido talenyoni 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 nyoku sangmuto nyokum sokito sang bam la cho bata sang bam la cho sang na sang bam la cho ta nhi ku hacking lunking hacking lunking Griang như jere Nergu nerling ribo Cengam ya panga Puya gyumling ribo Opo lindo ading tagdo Dagpu tagdo Purya hido Talenyoni 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 Nyoku sangmuto Nyokum sokito sang bam la cho bata sang bam la cho sang na sang bam la cho ta nhi ku nyoku sang muto nyoku sang muto nyokum sokito nyokum sokilacho sang bam lacho pata sang bam lacho sang na sang bam lacho tanyiku 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 hacking lunking hacking lunking. Okay, so since we spoke about going away from home and the whole feeling of coming back and reconnecting to your roots. So this is a song that I recently released. It's called Quiet as Story. This man, he left as a boy, about 7 or 8, 2 long decades till he was home again. They were all ears to listen to the story of a man who left sadly as a boy. He felt the joy, but even more worry, 'cause he just couldn't find the words to tell them the story. He heard his heartbeat, they felt his heart speed. He stuttered, he stammered, he fell but didn't give up. They were all ears to listen to the story of a man who left sadly as a boy. He felt the joy, but even more worry, 'cause he just couldn't find the words to tell them the story.